Welcome back to the Fine Finish Podcast, Episode 8. Today, we're joined by Megan with Black Damond Painting in Houston, Texas. She tells us how she got her start and her perspective on being a female professional in a male-dominated industry. We discuss her challenges with toning cabinets and how she sells customers on using better quality coatings. Lastly, we talk about the struggle of matching the many shades of white that customers request and how companies like Sherwin Williams and other similar retailers fail to accurately match their own colors. Thanks for tuning in to the Fine Finish Podcast. Let's get started.
I go hard in the paint. 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 I go hard in the paint.
Try not to cover your mouth too much.
I wing everything.
I go hard in the paint.
Oh, does he?
I have to All right, we're back with another episode of the Fine Finish Podcast.
What's up?
Lewis, Matt, again, as always. We're joined today by Megan with Black Damond Painting.
Hello.
Hi, Megan.
Nice to be
Thanks,
here.
Thanks for coming. So,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Not much, just staying busy, working, taking care of my kiddo. Another day in paradise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So Megan has been a customer of ours since we've opened the store.
Yeah.
And you're local. And I know I went to high school with your brother.
Yes.
Yeah. So a little bit of history there. And Megan, you own a painting company, right? Do y'all do anything else besides painting?
Mainly just painting. We do a little bit of mill work, a little bit of, siding repairs outside, kind of just small stuff, but we stick with mainly just, painting interior, exterior cabinets, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And before that, you were working with your brother, right?
Yeah. So backstory, I owned a tattoo shop with my ex-husband. When we divorced, I started working with my brother who owned Custom Builds Construction in Atascocita. I started doing mainly his books and scheduling and dealing with customers, and then turned into like estimates, and eventually he needed some small painting work done, like bathrooms or accent wall, and kind of started doing that stuff, and then steering away from the bookkeeping side of things and turned into just painting 24/7.
Yeah. Bookkeeping is never any fun.
I enjoyed it, but I'm more of a get up and walk around and move around type of person.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I remember we were kind of working with your brother a little bit there after Hurricane Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
And when we were doing the Americana cabinets thing, or when I was
Yeah.
briefly involved, should I say. But
I didn't piece that puzzle together, but that makes
Yeah.
sense.
What's your brother's name?
Kevin McGrath?
and he moved, right?
Yeah, he lives in Austin now. He's been
Okay.
there for about 3 years now.
Is he doing the same thing?
So he's mainly gearing towards roofs now.
Okay.
They do a little bit of residential construction work after floods or, just remodeling, but mainly roofs now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So what made you decide to get into painting?
So like I said previously, I worked for my brother doing the books and all that type of thing. Every now and again, he would need like a small job painted where his other painters were just too busy to take care of it. And I've always kind of painted my own houses and done that type of DIY stuff. So I would fill in for them here and there.
Yeah.
But the more I did it, the more I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love being up and moving around and making things pretty, and kind of started gearing away from doing the books and the sitting at a desk work and being out on the field and doing stuff. So eventually it kind of just turned into, well, I'm going to do this full time instead of
That's
doing
awesome.
the boring stuff.
Yeah. So you didn't have any painting experience besides your
Nope.
own, just painting your house. So how has that journey been? Like learning and
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. I mean, I spent countless hours on YouTube watching like the Idaho painter and just all these different painters and kind of taking tips and tricks from them. But I mean, it's been a lot of work, and I look back on when I first started painting and I laugh at myself for some of the stuff I did. But it's been fun.
That's awesome.
I've enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
How did Black Diamond start?
So after working for my brother, especially during the hurricanes and painting all these flood houses, and we just got a lot of experience under our belts really, really, really fast. I was painting full time, and he kind of started to die down and kind of gear towards other parts of construction. And I think I just shot the shit with some friends one time, and we were trying to make up a name. And somehow we came up with Black Diamond, with black being my favorite color. And started a Facebook page, and then kind of started advertising for myself on that aspect, and then just kind of ran with it and stopped doing as much for like my brother or other contractors and started doing my own thing.
Yeah, I see your name come up a lot on the Eagle Springs, which is a neighborhood here where I live.
Yeah.
Of course, you always get who do you recommend, and I've seen your name pop up.
That's the best word of advertisement.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going to ask you. So, has your marketing strategy always been social media?
Yeah. Word of mouth, social media.
Yeah.
I considered making like websites and stuff, but I think nowadays with Facebook, people would much rather just take their questions or advertisements and stuff to Facebook rather than doing the websites or other form of advertisement. But word of mouth has just been like the best advertisement for me. Make your customers happy, and they're willing to tell everyone they know about you.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I know you mentioned like YouTube, and I know we've worked together, hands-on, doing some training stuff. In kind of what I wanted to talk about, the female perspective, in a highly male-dominated, industry.
Absolutely.
It's awesome to see you doing what you're doing, and right there alongside all the other guys that are getting recommended, and I even see it as you getting recommended more. I wonder, especially in like the social media groups, I would have to assume it's that I don't know, female connection with the customers,
the moms.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, my dad was in construction all of my life, and all of my three brothers chose to go that route. So I've been around it most of my life. But when it comes to being like a female in the industry, I don't really know what it's like to be a male in the industry.
Sure.
But I do feel like I connect better with the women. And typically what I've experienced is the women are the ones that are dealing with the projects.
Sure.
They're usually the ones that have a little bit more time under their belt to deal with it, and I connect with them on a different kind of level than a man can, and they feel a little bit more comfortable talking to me about stuff. And I don't want to say that women have more attention to detail. I know y'all talked about it on y'all's last podcast, but I have heard customers tell me that it seems as if women in the industry do seem to have a little bit more attention to detail than some of the men do.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. Just from what I've seen, just not necessarily just residential. I always kind of point back to manufacturing, know, and going into the factories where finishing work or painting work is being done, and we see a lot of females. And I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
They can connect with us a little easier.
What kind of crew are you running right now? What do you?
So, as of right now, it's just my helper Charlie and I. We work so well together that we've tried to mix in other people, and it just seems like we do the same amount of work and the same quality of work with the two of us as we were if we had a third. And then it's just less to worry about people showing up or being on their A game or needing time off and that type of thing. And we've wanted to hire on other people, but it just hasn't worked out that way.
Yeah.
But we do have another crew. His name's Jose. I worked with him for many, many years, and he'll tackle a lot of the projects that we just don't have time for, or it just works out to where we can subcontract it to him, and then we can keep continuing on the projects that we enjoy doing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. And, higher margins for sure. Probably more profit, just you and a helper.
Absolutely.
And I mean, that's what I've always said. If I had to go back to the residential side, I would do it that way.
Yeah.
You know, just me and a helper, one project at a time.
Yep.
Focus on profitability of the project.
I can take better care of him financially, and both of us just put our best foot forward on it and do what we can rather than hiring a third and then, you know, having to cut back on the profit margins for both of us on each job.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Did he have a lot of experience coming in when you hired him? None, huh?
He's been in construction most of his life.
Yeah.
I mean, he lived up north, and they did flooring and building.
So he's been around it.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
he
been around
understands
it
that,
a lot.
But not necessarily
the painting aspect
finishing
of it.
or, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he has been working with me for 5 years now, and
Okay.
he caught on real fast. He works really hard. I can give him, you know, guidance, and he doesn't get offended. He just like, okay, I'm going to try it this way. Instead of, you know, how some people are like, well, I'm set in my ways. This is how I'm used to doing it. I'm going to keep doing it this way. So, yeah. He's been a godsend for me.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So how's the year going for you? I mean, I know we're in the last quarter of the year, and you know, it's been a big topic of discussion, I think, here on the podcast, and just generally with our customers. We're seeing the slowdown in the economy. How's that affecting you?
Honestly, this year we didn't see much slowdown. We had about 2 months in July and August where it was kind of hit or miss. We still had a little bit of work to keep us busy, but not like backlogged on it. Come September, you know, we booked up for the rest of the year again. Last year was where we really saw a slowdown for us. Really? Surprisingly, because people I talked to last year didn't really see that. And then now this year they're seeing it and we're not.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, that's really interesting.
What type of jobs are you booked up with right now?
We have a couple more cabinet jobs for the rest of the year, and then a few different interior repaints, and then a couple exteriors.
Oh, okay.
So
Awesome. What's your preference on, you know, what would you rather be doing daily?
So if you asked me that last year, I would have said interior repaints.
Yeah.
They're just where the money's at. It's comfortable being inside, super easy. Then our bodies started hurting, and we're like, okay, cabinet jobs are definitely where it's at because it's a lot less up and down ladders and strenuous on your body and stuff like that. But I'd say either interior repaints or cabinets.
Yeah. Which one has the better margin?
Interior repaints.
Yeah. Get in there quicker and just
get it knocked out. Yeah.
Lower material costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love cabinets though because it's just a better outcome.
Sure.
Like, you just so happy with how things turn out, and you can have a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? It can be a little bit more difficult to overcome things that you know occur during the process, but yeah,
we'll get you through it.
Yeah, exactly. I just call Lewis when I need help because he's my saving grace.
The payoff's better, you mean, right?
Yeah.
Like just the satisfaction.
Yes, the satisfaction, correct.
The pictures and
you take a picture of some walls and trim and doors you painted, and people have a hard time kind of seeing the difference. But with cabinets, it's a
There's
huge
more character
difference.
in the
Yeah.
the angles. And
I
mean,
and I get a better expression from the customer. Like, they're always just so ecstatic and happy with the outcome versus when you paint their walls. They're like, oh, I love it. It looks great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. See you later.
So how long does it take you to do a cabinet job?
About a week, just
Really?
depending on if they have one or two colors. But
Yeah.
like the job we're on now that we did this week, we didn't plan to do the doors right now because of scheduling conflict. We kind of squeezed it in last minute. So the frames ended up taking us about 3.5 days. But we had an accent color with the island.
Okay.
And we had a lot of new woodwork that needed some Bondo and caulking and that type of thing. So, and then the doors will take us maybe about 3 days, with installing being on the third day. Yeah.
And you just did a tone job.
We did, our first one.
So how did that go?
It was challenging.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but very challenging. For one, being using the Apollo, we're not very, efficient with that just yet. But we just called Lewis, and he gave us all the tips we needed. Customers were super happy. The company that we did it for gave us nothing but praise, so we were really happy with that too. Yeah. And I mean, I think if we did a few more and got some experience under our belt with it, it would be a lot easier. And
Yeah.
But definitely easier than painting cabinets. A lot
Yeah.
less steps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you're not having to Bondo or
Exactly.
putty or caulk or
multiple layers of
anything
primer
like that.
and top coat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's my preference. You know,
Is
people, yeah, I see so many people discussing it, you know, in online forums and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's, they're always like, oh, I got to charge, you know, double or triple to do something like that. And I'm like,
half.
I charge less, you know,
Yeah,
'cause it's
for sure.
so much faster, you know.
I know.
And not many people can do it.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. And I think once you start really diversifying into that, it really differentiates you from the competitor.
Yeah.
And then you can start incorporating, you know, different effects, and
Right.
you know, then it's a really, really niche service you can
That a
offer.
lot of people don't
and,
do.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily need to charge less because you're the only one doing it.
Yeah.
But we both know, you know, it is
can.
faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely my preference. And
Oh yeah, for sure. Those frames we just did,
Mm-hmm.
normally it would have been 3 days waiting for every coat to dry and
Right.
cure before moving on to the next step.
Yeah.
But with the toning, within
Mm-hmm.
2 days we had it all masked off, clean, toned, top coated,
Yeah.
cleaned up, doors back on, ready to go.
Yeah. You don't find with toning that it's harder to get, you don't have different shades maybe, right? I mean, I've watched you do a couple of them, right? And I feel like, again, I'm not the professional here. Y'all two are, right? But, you know, painting something, I feel like you have a couple cans that have the same paint in them,
Right.
Same color. You put it on and it's pretty uniform. But I feel like it's real easy with toning to maybe
Mess up.
overdo it, and you have doors that might be different colors or a
Oh,
box
yeah.
or something.
yeah.
We had that problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I was calling Lewis, and he was telling me to
Oh, is that-
strip the
okay.
doors.
Yeah.
I think it was for another problem, but you had told me to, you know, take some acetone and strip the doors
Yep.
and then start back over. But we did have a couple doors that were a little bit darker than the other ones. And when I sat them up in the shop and looked at them, you could see, like he explained, be careful, make sure they're consistent, or you're going to have like a checkerboard effect.
So, yeah, for
So
sure.
we did redo a couple of them just to make sure they were.
Yeah.
And I guess if their margin is higher on that, right? I guess the thing there is to master that,
Yeah.
right? Because then if you can, then you, like you say, you're going to kind of corner the market there and be
Right.
the only one doing it, because it might be too difficult to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Kicking myself in the butt for not seeing that post you made about the toning class.
Uh-huh.
If I would have seen that, I would have hopped right on it.
Yeah.
But I saw it whenever the class
We're going to
started
have another
full.
one.
We're having
When
one
you
next
do,
week.
please.
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Yeah. We're starting one Monday. A
Okay.
smaller project. If you have availability,
Yeah.
honestly, you can.
We actually have like a
Yeah.
full week job that we've got to get done because we have
Gotcha.
a couple more before Thanksgiving we got to knock out.
But we'll
But
do one the first of
on
the
the
year,
next one.
right?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
plan on doing. They've been so well received.
Yeah.
You know, the hands-on classes, and I mean, for us, it's just like, let's just keep doing it, because
Yeah.
no, I haven't seen anybody else doing anything like that where we
No.
actually take a project. And the last toning class was awesome. We had a really good group of folks there, and it was a larger kitchen. It wasn't little tiny project or anything.
Oh, yeah. I saw the videos y'all posted about
Did you
it.
listen to that? We had a podcast with them on one of the episodes. It was called Toning Class Special.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, and I think what's really unique is, you know, I kind of took it upon myself. Traditionally with toning, it's all done with solvent, with lacquers, you know,
Really?
and that's how I learned how to tone. And I spent, a lot of time really figuring out how to tone with water base.
Yeah.
And it's been really good, because like on this last one, we had some fisheye issue. You know, we try to separate the kitchen into sections and then give everybody their own section. But in the beginning, when we were cleaning everything, I think there was some overlap and some doors had gotten missed. They didn't
Yeah.
wipe off, you know, all of the degreaser or something. And when we sprayed it, they started to instantly fisheye.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it, I was like, just grab a rag, just grab a wet
Wipe it
rag
off.
and wipe it off.
Yep.
And you can, like with solvent, you cannot do it that way, because chances are it's going to reactivate, the finish below or whatever the scenario is. So, yeah, it's been awesome to, really see how easy it is to tone with water base and compared to solvent, because kind of like Matt said, you can really mess something up pretty quick, and then it's harder to go backwards. One thing we did, just kind of like what I taught the guys to do and what I've always done, when toning, especially when you're doing the doors, the boxes is a little easier, because it's all right there. You're looking at all of it, right? And you can see
make it consistent.
Yeah, you can make it consistent. But what we'd always do is, have the control right next to where we were spraying, and then we have a table so that we could put the doors next to each other as they were getting sprayed, and could look at them and easily tell. So, I mean, we had like 4 on the table at all times, so as one guy would spray one, we'd pick off the last one that was, or, the first one that was on the table, however you want to look at that, and just keep them moving that way. So we always had 3 references, and we know that the color wouldn't vary. And I think on that kitchen, we only had like 1 door, and the customer didn't even notice. I seen it immediately. I was like, oh man, that door's a little bit darker, but he didn't say anything. Maybe they noticed, but they didn't say anything. I mean, the outcome of that kitchen was phenomenal.
It looked nice.
Yeah, it looked really nice.
Yeah,
and
it did
they
turn
were
out really good.
Yeah, they were extremely happy with it, and everybody really, really learned something. And
this podcast is brought to you by Fine Finish Supply. It's time to take your craft to the next level, and Fine Finish Supply can help with hands-on classes and demos. No more boring lectures. It's all about rolling up your sleeves and getting down to business with our hands-on classes. They're designed for tradesmen like you who dare to be different. We offer a wide range of classes for any professional, including stain to paint, refinishing and toning, door refinishing, custom staining, product demos, and more. And for our out-of-town attendees, we've got you covered too. Feel free to stay in our comfortable rent house so you can focus on honing your craft without the distractions of high-priced hotels. It's time to elevate your skills, boost your career, and become the legend you were meant to be. Visit finefinishsupply.com/events to find upcoming classes and demos in the Houston area. Don't wait, our classes are in high demand, and you don't want to miss your chance to level up. And now, back to the show.
We're seeing, just as a company, we're making a lot of stains, matching a lot of stains. And we have a lot of contractors coming in trying to learn how to stain. Because they have no idea.
Right, because mainly it's all painting.
Yeah.
Like there's not a lot of opportunity for staining. And if it is, it's just like a vent hood or small pieces,
Yeah. And which for me, it's a little backwards because all I ever knew was staining.
Oh, really?
That's it. And until I had to teach myself. I did go to school for collision repair and refinishing on the car side. Right out of high school, did that. It was like 1 year trade school thing. But it was, kind of shocking when we started getting requests to paint stuff, that was stain, because traditionally everybody's looking for the refinisher to do stain.
Yeah.
Right. And now, with the trend, the color trend, it makes a lot of sense, and it kind of positions us really well because, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, but there's not a lot of places where you can go and they're going to fully explain to you, a toning process or
I
a
don't
spray
know of
stain.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Not a single place.
Yeah.
I can Google it, YouTube it. You try to go to Lowe's or Sherwin Williams, and no offense to them, but they're like, "Oh yeah, here, use this Minwax and be on your own. Good luck."
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know what you're staining or how this is going to react, but here's a product, and we're just going to push this product to you and wish you the best.
Yeah, exactly. So, are you seeing more requests for stain?
I haven't yet, but we did just finish that toning job somewhat recently. A couple weeks ago, so we'll see how it unfolds.
I was just over at Americana not too long ago, and they're getting more stain work. And,
oh, really?
Your name came up in the conversation I was having with them earlier in the week.
Hopefully good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff, because because there is a higher demand. I have personally had a lot more opportunity on the commercial side coming my way, where people are essentially just handing work over or begging us to take it.
Nice.
So we're strongly considering taking some of these larger commercial projects.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of picking their brain on, pricing, because it's been so long.
It's so different.
Yeah, for me, it's been a while, right? The last time I took a project, it was pre-COVID.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Even
everything
residential
else.
for y'all, too.
Right. So, I mean, like, people ask me about pricing regularly, and I'm like, man, I don't feel comfortable helping you with that part of it, because I don't know,
Yeah.
I mean, I know everything is high, way higher than it was. So, I mean, I would just assume the pricing would be
Has
much
gone up.
higher.
Oh, yeah. We've more than doubled our, like, kitchen equation, whatever you want to say, in the last 3 years.
Sure.
Wow.
So it's...
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah.
I bet.
Prices have definitely gone up
Yeah.
so much. And not to mention, I mean, we did start using better products and stuff
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
It's not just the economy, but it is everything else we've learned and started using since then as well.
Yeah. Well, our hope is always, because our big thing when we're selling people product is, don't look at the cost of the bucket, look at the application cost.
Yeah.
And we always say that because a lot of times if a customer's coming from a Sherwin or something like that, that's usually their first question is, how much is it, right? Which for us...
That was me.
Yeah. For us, it's...
Sticker shock.
Yeah, it's tough, right? With that being the first question, and then we have to go through that whole explanation. But, we're confident that we've got faster dry and faster stack and,
Cheaper cleanup.
cheaper cleanup costs.
Everything.
Everything.
It was just, when we were using Sherwin Williams Emerald Urethane, like the famous paint, I mean, we were only being able to spray one side of the doors per day and hoping that the weather was good enough for us to be able to spray the second day.
Right.
But then getting the chance of flipping the door over and then having indents on the bottom of it because the paint wasn't fully cured. And now we can spray 4 coats of paint, 2 per side in one day, and not have a worry in the world that when we flip it over, it's not going to mess up the door one bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, if we could...
Huge difference.
Yeah, if we could just figure out like a really good way to make everybody understand that, we would no telling.
I know.
There's no telling.
We don't need them to know that. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Y'all
You
do.
don't. Yeah,
I know.
that's true.
I don't want all these other painters to know how amazing it is.
Maybe someone in Ohio or something.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah, we'll
Can y'all
ship
go
it.
like up north somewhere? No more Texas people.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, maybe right now, I like to say there's plenty of work for everybody, right? But maybe there's not for, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's interesting. How do you, when you go in to sell a job, how are you selling the customer? Like when it comes to them asking you about paint, or do they ask you about paint? I mean, what's your sales
A lot of the
pitch?
time, surprisingly, the customers don't ask me about what paint we use.
Yeah.
They really don't ask like what our schedule is, how long it's going to take. They just want you to come in, look at their job, give them a price. That's really all
And
they
they really
care
shouldn't,
about.
right? I mean,
I know,
the end
but
of the
I
day.
think it's lack of knowledge. Like
Yeah.
they don't know. They just maybe assume everyone that comes in is going to paint the same. But it's taking a sample door in there with the Renner.
Yep.
And I also still have sample doors that have other materials on them and showing them those differences. Going over the steps with it and the pros and cons of using Renner versus like Sherwin Williams that other companies may use. And just, having a good conversation with them and being honest about their expectations.
Sure.
And going from there. And I think people just really enjoy hearing the truth from somebody instead of like, oh, we're going to paint your kitchen and make it look amazing.
Right.
Give me money.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we hear that a lot from contractors, like, oh no, I'm not using it because this customer said I have to use.
Yeah.
I've
We've heard that a
never-
few times. Yeah.
I've never had a customer tell me I had to use a paint. I've had customers ask me like, well, I heard oil base is better because it's stronger.
Sure.
And then I just explain how Renner is industrial wood coating and how it holds up and how it's been tested and how it's, the water-based equivalent of oil-based, like it's super strong, and show them in person what it looks like and feels like and how it gives like a factory finish, and it just sells them on it. And they're like, okay. They're all usually pretty open to what you have to say as long as you seem like you're confident.
Yeah. That's perfect.
Do you think some of the contractors that come in here think or don't, or maybe they don't know that we can match other colors, right? So maybe their customer says, I want this Sherwin color, and they say, well, that's got to go on a Sherwin product, right? I don't know. I'm just trying to guess, and maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I think so, because, we see that question a lot, in messages. We get that call a lot. Can you match these colors? Yes. But what's interesting is that usually, like we know, the Sherwin color is always usually wrong.
Yep.
Like always. Always.
Yeah, we have two different color decks that are...
Yeah.
They're
off. Yeah, they're trying to match
same.
them up, and they're a little bit different.
Yeah, and that's, even for us internally, because the business model for Renner truly is industrial. You know, and when we say that, I don't know if many people understand what that means. I guess if you're a painting contractor and you haven't been exposed to the actual, like a wood product manufacturer, how they process their materials and stuff, it's different. They offer their colors, their signature colors, right? Some of these guys are only doing one color, so it's a palette of one single color. Yeah. Which for us, like internally, that's easy. What's difficult working with an industrial coating is the tinting process, when we have to do a ton of different colors. Yeah. Because our variances or our tolerances are very tight. Like it's 0.5% is all that it can be off in terms of color. And it's measured against what's the 4 different deltas? Yeah. So like 3 different light sources and metamerism, which is the way your eye sees color.
Oh, wow.
And we've had a lot of internal difficulty, especially with, somebody says, oh, I need pure white. I need high reflective white. I need Chantilly lace. I need, dove white. I need snow white. And we're looking at them like, this is stock white with 1 drop of something. Yeah. Right? But then when we get something that they say, this is pure white, they bring a door, hey, I need you to match this pure white. It's like, this isn't pure white.
Exactly.
Here's the fan deck, and you hold it up, and they're never right. So, we're racking our brains here, like, hey, are we doing too much? Because for us, we'd love to have that model where you walk in and I hand you a gallon of paint,
and you just go on your way
and say it's pure white. Here you go. Here, Megan. Here's pure white. Yeah. But we don't.
I know.
And then we've been racking our brain, like, do we just stop doing that? Like, do we follow that model because we are serving more of the residential sector opposed to the OEM, the manufacturer? We don't know. We really truly don't know. And it's funny, like Gustavo actually, who was on last week, he walked in, is like, I need high reflective or something like that. And I'm like, we were busy, and I was like, Gustavo, dude, is this a match to something? It's like, no. And I was like, so who specified high reflective white? Well, the customer just said it. I was like, so would they know? Yeah. He said no. I said, cool, so we'll stick a sticker that says high reflective white.
And put it with the stock white.
His customer's not listening.
No,
I know.
I seriously
but it's so true, though, because
I seriously doubt it.
I can't tell you how many times I have a customer that says, I want this specific white. And it's so close to just stock white. And I try to have a conversation with them, and I'm like, there's just no point in doing this pure white or this high reflective white, because it pretty much all looks the same. But they have it in their heads, well, I want my cabinets the same color as I have my walls. And my walls are pure white. Well, there's still going to be a difference in color with my pure white as there is your wall pure white. It's a different sheen, it's a different paint, it's a different texture. There's so many differences to it. It's still going to look different. Yeah. But I know every time I have to order pure white, I put in the subject line on the website, like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Lewis. I know I'm stressing y'all out, but I try to talk customers out of it, and they really want the pure white for whatever reason it is. So,
well, and the other thing, we see like trim, like, oh, I want to match my trim. Well,
it's not going to match.
It's not going to match.
No matter what.
I mean, this might have been pure white here in our office at one point. Now it's like, it's yellowed so bad.
Who knows?
And, you know, who knows what color it is. So there's
hobo white.
Yeah, it's never going to match. Yeah.
We could call it Dover white now.
Yeah, we could call it Dover or alabaster.
Who knows?
Whatever it is.
What sample? You said you take a sample in. What color is that?
Just pure white. Or not pure white, stock white.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to say. That's what you're showing them.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's perfect. I mean, so, I mean, you know.
It's funny.
We have
you just got to appease the customer. Though.
Yeah, I know.
What they want, they want. You can try to inform them and talk them out of it, but in the end, it's their decision.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
We've had it happen more often than not, though, honestly, where somebody will call and be like, oh, this doesn't match. It absolutely matches. It 100% matches.
There's no way
we know
it
it matches.
Yeah.
Your stuff doesn't match.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a whole different, you know, that makes it hard for y'all. Mm-hmm. You know, it makes it hard for you as a contractor. For us, it's easy. I point at it, the fan deck, and we keep the drawdown, and it's like, here it is. It's
the exact same every time.
The exact same. And, you know, we can even print our paper out for our QC and you know, see
well, when we're ordering from, like, for interior wall paint, when we're ordering from other big box stores, I can't tell you how many times we open 2 5-gallon buckets and one of them is a hint different. Mm-hmm. And you can see it straight out of the 5-gallon bucket. Yeah. So we have trust issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have to box them and
you know, take them back and hopefully you catch it before, you know, people start painting it on walls and then it become a problem when you start touching up or second coating and stuff. So
So what's next for Black Damond?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm just cruising. I'm enjoying it being the easy lifestyle right now. I'd love to hire more people, and soon enough, whenever we buy a house, we're going to build like a good sized shop on the property. Yeah. And that's what I really want to do next. Yeah. So we're, you know, have a good, comfortable setup for doing cabinets. Sure. But other than that, just...
Yeah.
Where y'all do shop work now? Did you already say
in my
that?
garage. I have it all turned into a shop just for spraying.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's a nice little setup for now. Hey. It works.
As long as it works,
yeah.
And as long as you're happy. I mean, you know, that's why I said I've always just man in the van with the helper and
I'm sure a large majority of contractors that are just two people are probably doing it in their garage.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that.
You just got it all cleaned out and turned into just for spraying, and it's convenient because I'm at home, so in between stuff I can deal with my dogs or throw a little laundry in, do what I need to do.
Eat lunch at
exactly
the house.
Comfortable.
Yeah, take your son some lunch to
exactly
school,
exactly
have the freedom in the schedule. I think a lot of people always talk about I want to work for myself because I want freedom.
Yeah.
But you see so many people go the complete opposite direction where they don't have the freedom and the business just owns them.
Oh, I did that for so many years when I was with my ex-husband and we owned a tattoo shop, and we just were slaves to our shop and it was all the time. So when I started painting, that was the main goal, was to be able to have a little bit of that freedom. Sure. You know, having a kid with type 1 diabetes, it's just nice. Like if I need to run up to a school for an emergency, or if he needs to stay home that day, or having that lenience to be able to take care of him that I wouldn't have with a you know, standard Monday through Friday job.
No, absolutely. Yeah. Me with my 6 kids, you know, that we had
Bless
at the house
heart.
at one time. Now there's only 4, so it's
only 4.
Yeah, only 4 now.
I got 2 at the house.
I got 1. I have 2. My stepdaughter.
When they were little, and that was, you know, I worked for myself, so it was nice to be able to run off. But we still worked like crazy. Yeah. You know, don't get me wrong. But no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Only 4.
Only 4 at the house now, yeah.
No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, really, truthfully, I mean, it was, now they're older, you know, so they can take care of themselves and entertain each other more. Right. And it's not, you know, it's my daughter, she's the only one that's,
dressed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No, I know, that's that was like the cut. Like when I realized Noah was old enough, I'm like, to get himself dressed, I'm like, he's good then.
Yeah,
exactly. Right? How old is your daughter?
She's 6.
6, yeah. So she's a little bit more on the independent side.
Yeah, and her brothers, my twins are 14.
Oh, I didn't know you had twins.
Yeah, yeah. That's one of them out there. He got suspended from school for fighting yesterday.
Nice.
So, it's boys. There was 4 of them. So my stepson's 17, and then my other son, he's 16.
Okay.
So, but when they were all 14, 16, 17, right? So when they were like 5, 6, and 8, like,
troublemakers.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was crazy.
That's how my brothers were. My twin brother and I, and then we have a brother that's 4 years older, and then another brother that's 3 years older. So, they were all pretty close in age, and they ran the streets together. And,
oh, yeah.
I
know.
Yeah,
I know. I used to hang out with your brother, like I said.
Troublemakers.
So. Oh, yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, no, it definitely has gotten easier, and, it's, I don't have to worry about them as much. And
that's always nice.
There's things you worry about they're just a lot different, Yeah. Now they can stay at home by themselves. It's just it's just better.
A lot more convenient that way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, awesome, Megan. You have anything else you want to add to the?
I think we covered it all.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate you.
I really appreciate you having me here.
No, absolutely. We love what you're doing, and
Thank you.
It's, we just want to see you grow and help. And
got to thank y'all for all the help and information over the last few years. It's definitely transformed our jobs quite a bit.
That's what we're here for.
How can people find you?
We're on Instagram, Black Damond Painting. Our business Facebook page is also Black Damond Painting. But we don't have a website. We just stick with
That's fine. Okay. Cool.
Awesome.
All right. Well,
until next week, we appreciate y'all listening.
Thanks for listening. Later.
Bye.
The Fine Finish Podcast was created and hosted by Louis Hasso and produced and co-hosted by Matt Looney. Our theme music is by Kirk Wellness on SoundCloud. Fine Finish Supply is a stocking distributor of Renner Wood Coatings, Surf Prep Sanding, Apollo HVLP, and Tri-Tech Airless. To support this podcast, we ask that you share it with others by simply passing on the link, post it on your social media, or just tell everyone you know. For more information and to reach us, visit our website at www.finefinishsupply.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. If you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to reach out to us at 1-866-304-8640. Thanks for listening.